And we're off.
All right, and we're going. This is What's in the Box.
What's in the box? How's that? Was that good?
That was good.
Okay, thanks. That was a good one.
With me and my dad, not Cheryl.
Not Cheryl. I'll be not Cheryl today.
Hashtag not Cheryl.
Hashtag not Cheryl.
Not my Cheryl.
Not my Cheryl. Anywho.
So I'm awake. So
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we decided to. Oh, I didn't turn my heat.
Oh, way to go. Maybe mine will pick you up.
Probably will.
I'm green.
It's really good. Okay, fine, done.
Can you hear me? Hate the voices.
Anyway, so I decided to call my dad up and be like, "Hey, you want to do a podcast? Because you don't sleep.
Because I don't sleep.
Because you're old.
I got 6 hours. Come on.
So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do.
So we're roaming around today.
Yeah. So I do want to ask, how you doing?
Do you really want the rundown?
Yeah.
No. So, those insurance people, they decided I've had asthma most of my life, and I've been on this thing called Symbicort for the longest time, and it's worked really well for me. And as of January, my insurance said, we don't want to cover you on that anymore. So my doctor put me on something else that just didn't work, and I've been on it.
It just is not working for me.
It puts me at 70%. It's kind of hard going up. I go up 3 flights of stairs when I go to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Yeah. So I told the doctor that he says, give it a little time. So I did. It's 3 months later, and it's not working. So he put me on this other stuff called Trelegy. And it seems to be working now. It's more expensive, of course, but I can breathe again.
I think they should do it like rock bands. I think the better it works, the harder the name should be. Like Kick Death in the Ass.
Ooh, I want that. That's cool.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Well, it's gonna cost you.
Well, we have the Fluffy Buddy medication that sometimes kind of works, sometimes doesn't. And we have Kicking in the Ass.
Well, I want the Kicking in the Ass. I just don't know if I can afford it. Let's go with the Fluffy Bunny. I'm out of breath walking across the parking lot, but I can afford that. Anyway, so that's how I am. I'm breathing pretty good right now, and again, a little more expensive, but still, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
That's good.
Yeah. Trying to stay alive.
At least for the time being.
At least for a little while. Yeah, because you never know. You could die tomorrow.
So,
a meteor coming out of the sky and killing us right now. We just don't know.
Oh, can I? Okay. So I called.
Speaking of meteors.
No, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say this on another podcast because me and Cheryl are gonna do one later today. But I called you.
I don't feel so special anymore.
Well, you were my first call though.
Oh,
on this
because she was sleeping.
On this. So we are going to talk about wrestling because that was
wrestling.
What I called you that we were going to talk about. But I want to get this out there because it's super exciting. And I called you, and I don't know if it's exciting to the rest of the world, but it's exciting to me.
So that's all that matters.
We have survived in the time of monkeys learning how to fish.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting. That's an exciting thing.
Hey, I got to tell you, I think you told me this yesterday, but bears have known how to fish for quite a long time.
Yes, I'm aware. But everybody's always made the correlation between us and primates. And we've never got to see it in real time. We've always looked at
what
primates
you're saying,
being like, oh, they're still like...
So hold on.
Way back here.
You're saying the monkeys have gone to the store and got fishing rods and then went and got like worms and stuff.
No,
and they're sitting on the bank fishing.
Although there is a video of a monkey with a long stick dipping it in the water, like what's it called? Like a bobber. That's pretty cool. No, the reason why it's exciting is because
the monkey was sitting on the side of the fishing rod. Anyways.
Oop.
Yeah.
The beard.
Maybe. Hey, Maybe I need a bobber.
The beer next to him just,
Yeah.
this just isn't working. Anyway.
Shh.
Anyway, no, it's exciting because we've always looked at, well, one, there's been no real, in real time, evidence of us evolving from primates. It's always just been a theory. Well, I mean, it's a theory based in, like, facts and stuff, but as far as, like, seeing it in real time, nobody's seen monkey evolution. Just monkeys have done this, and then humans have done this.
They throw crap.
So, it's exciting that we have lived long enough to see monkeys evolve past what we think they are. Like, into our quote Stone Age era that we as a human race were in at one time.
So you're saying
They're not discovering fire, but they're discovering how to fish on their own.
You're saying this is physical proof of evolution.
Yes, it's physical proof that evolution is real. That it's not just something that somebody made up.
Otherwise known as, like I was riding my ass, I'm doing 5 miles over the speed limit, you know, that big truck man, he's got to go. Anyways, so now I just drew a blank because I had something to say. So monkeys.
Yeah.
So we're just smart monkeys. That's what you're saying.
Yes. We are smart monkeys over time.
Some of us are hairier than others.
But also, you know what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll get into the wrestling thing. But
let's talk evolution.
We're gonna talk about this.
Your Echo Auto lost its connection.
Oh no!
That was me, not you.
I know.
Oh, I was gonna show you something while we're driving around.
We're gonna go into this because this is interesting too.
Evolution.
So, on the other end of the spectrum, aliens are real.
Aliens.
Yeah. So, we're watching the monkeys learn how to fish.
Yes.
You think the aliens came down and, I mean, obviously not everybody's excited about it, as I am. Do you ever think aliens came down and watched us make fire and they're like, yeah, they fucking did it.
Well,
They fucking did it.
hold on. Or did aliens come down and say, hey, stupid, this is how you can make fire?
Fire.
Yeah.
Also, they don't know if the monkeys learning how to spear, because they learn how to spearfish. Because they sharpen the stick or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, see? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Music venue.
that's cool.
Yeah. This place is really cool. I told your mom, hey, let's move here. And then I thought, no, we can just come down here.
It's not
And
that big of a
right across the road,
Senior
retirement village. I don't have to move too far.
So, you can wheel your stuff.
I know. You
Anyway,
can wheel me in my wheelchair.
so, yeah, that's also a thing, too, is nobody knows whether it was taught or learned. Because these monkeys are in the middle of the jungle. So nobody knows if somebody happened, because everybody, like, explorers go through different places all the time and they don't stay there. So nobody knows if, like, somebody went there and the monkeys saw them
do something
so
so
they figured it out, or whether they figured it out on their own.
Hmm?
But either way, they still learned it, which is cool. But also, there's a theory that aliens are responsible for our rapid evolution.
Yeah.
That aliens have came down, kind of like helping a baby walk. It's not like they can't walk by themselves, but if you help them, they learn to walk faster.
True.
And I feel like that's where the aliens come in with us.
Huh.
That they didn't necessarily give us the computer, but they gave us the tools to make the computer or the interwebs.
It wasn't William Shatner,
No, it wasn't.
or is William Shatner an alien?
I think
Hey, look, I got this flip phone.
I think a lot of people would.
What's a flip phone?
I think a lot of people would argue that William Shatner is an alien.
Well, he's kind of old now. See that building?
Yeah.
Really cool, huh?
It's cool.
They can't do anything with it, so they may tear it down.
It looks like a hospital.
It used to be a big office building that they thought, and then the pandemic hit, and now they can't get anybody in it. So all that money spent, and
Well, you can't buy it? Why not?
I could, but there was somebody going to buy it at one time and make it into like a big apartment condo thing.
That would work.
Yeah, it would, but it wouldn't because now they're not going to do that. So, excuse me, coughing up lung.
Anyway.
I'm banging on this too. That's not good.
Anyway, so that's my little tidbit.
Huh.
I was super excited. I was like,
Evolution, proof of evolution.
yeah, and it's exciting that we're able to see it in real time. It's not just a theory. It's not just something that we have to be taught. It's not something that people just tell us when we're younger as like an option of creation or whatever. Like, it's real. It actually happens.
So,
Which I don't know why the monkeys thing, and you said this when I said it. I don't know why the monkeys thing specifically jumps out at me. I think it's because that was always the correlation between us and animals. Because the proof of evolution has always been there. Every animal evolves. Everything evolves in the planet. You can see that. That's already been proven. You can see that in real time. But I don't know why the monkeys were the only thing that were a standstill, I guess. Monkeys were the only animals that never evolved.
we gave those humans. Oh no, because they were not really humans. We're just elevated monkeys. How's
Yeah.
that? Anyway,
Oh.
so
I don't know, but it was super exciting for me.
because there's lazy monkeys. So lazy monkeys are going. Go ahead. Go ahead, genius. You keep going. I'm gonna sit back.
You go fish for me.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
stay
Yeah. Yeah. Teach a monkey to fish. He fishes for
Monkey.
life.
Oh,
And
what?
there you have
I said that. I said, well, you said that too when I told you. It's the start of the Planet of the Apes. It's the start of the
it.
takeover.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your
First-
mom's really excited about the new movie coming out.
First, the new one.
Yeah.
I am too. It looks really good. They first they learn how to fish. Then
Then they're making movies.
Then they learn how to talk. Then they're ripping off heads off of statues.
Yep.
Anyway, so what I originally wanted to talk to you about is wrestling.
Oh, so we are going to go to wrestling.
We are going to go to wrestling.
Okay.
So I am excited because I like wrestling a lot,
Wrestling.
and there's a bit of a drop off. I told you this when we talked about it originally.
I told you.
There's a bit of a drop off because the time that you stopped watching wrestling
Mhm.
and the time I kind of started watching wrestling, there's a gap in between there.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna have to like brush over that.
Oh.
So
Fast forward through.
Yeah.
Through the gap.
So what does wrestling mean to you? Tell me your wrestling experience, how you got started.
Well, of course, I've seen it. I don't know, now that I think about it, I was going to say I've seen it on TV, but now that I think about it, I don't know that I actually first seen it on TV. I think it might have been
It was whispers in the locker room.
No, it was a old. This sounds stupid, but kind of an old time. When they did local promotions on the TV.
Mhm.
Hey, the Crusher is going to be at the Wharton Field House tonight, and you went, what? What's the Crusher?
The what?
Yeah. And then he comes on, and he's in his tights, and everything, and then he's got the guy he's competing against. And we're going to be at the Wharton Field House. And that's probably what kind of piqued my interest of, okay, and it clicked really fast that this wasn't high school wrestling, This wasn't dude in a singlet,
Mhm.
And so that kind of, and then there's a lot of people that I seen on TV after that growing up. What's funny, because this is who I am,
Mhm.
is it was fun to watch, but my interests were, okay, who's managing this whole thing? And I remember Greg Gagne. He was kind of a short guy, but very athletic guy, and I can't remember who his partner was that they had tag team. And so I'm going, okay, how's this working, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to know how it worked. And as it turned out, his dad, Vern Gagne, did it earlier and then started managing like the upper Northwest or whatever. And that's where I like to watch it. And then, of course, you know, Hulk Hogan came in, and I was in that era with Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage. And it was fun. It was and Andre the Giant. It was really fun to watch.
So we're gonna get back to that, but so there's a part of it that there's a lot of speculations.
Speculation.
Yeah, on which era is better and blah 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 and whatever. But I was, what is this?
That's how I pick up Jameer.
Oh.
You drive in, and then they have a phone, and they punch in your number, and that call kind of goes into the people inside, and they say, "Okay, Jameer, you can go out.
That's kind of cool.
Your guardian or whatever is here to pick you up."
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So if you left your car unlocked, I could just grab it and go pick up a random kid.
Yep.
So anyway, I attribute that era of wrestling with Macho and Hulk and all of that to comedy. That era versus the era we're in now in wrestling. Macho.
I would tell you they didn't think it was comedic.
Macho. No. You'll get where I'm going with this. Macho and Hogan would be like Richard Pryor, Chris Rock, right? As far as comedy goes.
Okay.
The era we're in now would be like Bert Kreischer, Andrew, like things like that, right?
Okay.
They're still good in their own right.
Yep.
It's just a different kind of storytelling.
Yep.
Chris Rock and Richard Pryor was punchline. Yep. Whereas Bert Kreischer,
there's a whole backstory to it.
It's long-term story. It's long-form storytelling.
Okay.
And I think that's the difference. So we're going to put that down as a baseline. So
we've progressed. Is that what you're trying to say?
I think the audience has, and I've said this with a lot of other things, I think the audience has, quote, become smarter. I know that that's not really attributed with wrestling fans for the most part.
It's not really attributed to your youth nowadays.
Yeah, but I think
because they're mostly right here. I need it right here.
Well, I think that's the reason is because when wrestling back in the day, you had your pay-per-views and you had, especially towards the end there, you had TV spots, but mostly you didn't have anything in between. You know what I mean? You didn't have documentaries. You didn't have behind the scenes. You didn't have their Instagram where you could see, what they're actually doing. I say this.
Couldn't see Hulk Hogan on the road in his bus or something,
Yeah, like having a cheeseburger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I feel like because we have access to that now, and we have access to all of it now, there's a more realness about the wrestlers now, and it has to feel real.
Look,
you know what I mean?
He's eating a cheeseburger, just like me.
Like Macho.
He's a normal guy, just like me.
Yeah, like Macho Man can't be on the beach in the full thing with the frills and what. Nobody buy it. Nobody be like, why are you in 95-degree heat?
But if he's hanging out in the bar with Miss Elizabeth having a beer, then I can relate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like that's kind of where it changed. But I say this all the time is that's what I appreciate about wrestlers now. And kind of The Undertaker was the last
mainstay.
Yeah, was the last kind of person that had stayed in that. The Undertaker never was not The Undertaker for as long as I can, up until COVID, probably 2020, 2019-ish, something like that. When he retired, and he went on his whole thing of like coming out of being The Undertaker and doing interviews and as himself. But even like Jimmy Kimmel and The Tonight Show, and when he would go do promotions or he was The Undertaker at all times, because people at that time thought that if they see them not that character, they won't believe it. Which this brings me to a very pivotal moment in wrestling that I wanted to ask you if you remember. So, WCW.
Yep.
And WWF.
Yep.
Yeah, I said that right.
Yep.
So they had the Monday Night Wars, right?
Yep.
So there is a very iconic match that changed
That's pretty.
television in wrestling forever.
There is a match that changed wrestling forever.
Yes.
What match was that?
It was the match between
Was that
Scott
Black?
Hall,
Okay, I was going to
Kevin
say
Nash.
Black Hulk Hogan, where he went all black and whatever.
No.
Oh, that's
Kevin
NWO.
Kevin Nash. It was before that. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and then Triple H. Triple H.
Kevin Nash. He's not big sexy, is he?
No.
I want to say that the reason I say this because just side note, your grandma's like a huge fan. your grandma doesn't care about wrestling at all, but ooh, big sexy.
Kind of funny.
It is. Anyways, go ahead.
No. Triple H or maybe it wasn't Triple H. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I know Shawn Michaels was there, for sure. But there's a match where they all wrestled together or whatever, and it was it was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash's last match in the WWF before they went to WCW.
Okay.
And this was before the main stream of interwebs. There was interwebs. But somebody got a video of after TV went off air, they all went in the middle of the ring and gave each other hugs and was like saying goodbye to each other in front, and that was never done. That was never done because
you're supposed to hate each other.
Because you keep the illusion until you're back in the locker room where nobody can see you.
Yep.
And they didn't because it was their last match. Because Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they didn't care because they were leaving.
Yeah.
It was Triple H because he talks about how he got to the shit after because Shawn Michaels. There's an interview with Triple H where he talks about this. Shawn Michaels couldn't be punished because he was Shawn Michaels. He was like the guy.
Yeah.
But Triple H was still on his way up. So Vince McMahon kind of put him like, you're going to pay for this because you're the only one we can really do anything to.
Yeah.
And so Triple H had to work his way back up. He was kind of like shelved as a punishment for that. But that was it, is that was never seen. Nobody ever did that. And so it changed when that video came out. It changed everything because obviously people talk and people like have seen the video over time, but it kind of put that, oh, wrestling's not real. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like for the first time we had valid.
So they really don't hate each other. They're hugging it out, and they're probably going to dinner later.
kind of the monkey learning how to spearfish. We finally
There
had.
it is. I brought it all around, back around.
Damn, I'm good at this. No,
Shut up.
no, but we finally had real time evidence that this isn't real.
Yeah.
And so,
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
See, you say that, and I get what you're saying, and now I'm drawing up like Bret
Hart.
Bret Hart, was he the guy that died, or no? That was his brother.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Yeah.
And so, when you say things aren't real, if somebody dies, it's kind of real, isn't it?
Oh man, fucking Cheryl we watched a documentary. I can't remember. I think it was Bret Hart's documentary actually. And Cheryl saw that part where Kevin died or whatever.
Owen,
and they have like footage of like people talking about how, the WWF didn't take responsibility and nobody knows how this happened, whatever. And Cheryl went on this whole tangent of, are you kidding me? Somebody died and nobody knows nothing.
Yeah.
It was
Not
really,
my fault. They did all that by
it was just really funny.
Hey, dead people.
Hi. It was just really funny because it was kind of like watching WrestleMania with her. She's not really interested until the Undertaker's bell went off, and then she's like, "Wait, whoa, hey, I know that."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. I was watching the documentary.
So when you're saying it's not real, sometimes it gets really
It does
real.
get real. And also for the most part, you know, a lot of wrestlers will say this. Yes, it's not quote real, but also everything that happens is real.
Yeah.
You're not falling on cushy mattresses. You're not. What?
You climb up that pole and sit to shoot deer, maybe?
Yeah, why not?
That's a wow.
That's a hike.
That's a big one. Anyways,
Anyway, but like all the stuff is real. Like falling off of the top thing of a tower or of a ladder
yeah,
doesn't not hurt. You're not falling on
Yeah.
pillows.
yeah.
But anyway,
Pillows.
so do you have? Because I do. Do you have a match that kind of
Excuse-
sticks out in your head, or was it just overall?
Well, there's
Were you a part-time wrestlers?
you know, I think even your mom and I watched wrestling a lot, with your Uncle Jody too. But you know, obviously, the one that really there's a lot of Macho Man Hulk ones
Mhm.
that were fun to watch, but the one that really stuck out to me was when Hulk Hogan lifted up Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
It was like, oh God, his back's gonna
That's
die.
that is still in the top 10 greatest moments of the WWE because that shocked the entire planet. It was like, people can do that?
Yeah.
No, like obviously Hulk Hogan's not normal.
I thought it wasn't real, but holy cow!
Like obviously Hulk Hogan's not like normal. Like if
but so
which I haven't, but if you stood next to Hulk Hogan, he's not like my size.
Yeah.
But like that was, again, like you said, that wasn't done. So when somebody saw somebody actually lift Andre the Giant, you're like, whoa, this can happen?
Yeah, so let me point something out to you when you use that term. It's not real.
Mhm.
So what you don't see in the background is like
the wires and pulleys and
well, no. I was gonna say the pins that are in his back right now.
Yeah.
You know, and the surgeries he's probably had to go through, and
Well,
all of them have had to go through.
there is, which technological advances.
Mhm.
There are so many wrestlers now that luckily are able to still wrestle now
Uh-huh.
because of the fact that technology has progressed. However, people like Hulk Hogan, he says he's very vocal about it. In that era, there's a point where your whole spine is fused and you can't even turn your head. And even he said, he's like, I probably could have wrestled a couple more years if I wanted to, but I've already done so much damage to my body at that point that why?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of occupations, I'll say, like that. You know, so let's say you're Hulk Hogan. Oh, this is an awesome life I have. I've got so much money. I'm on a plane going here. My fans are adoring me. This is an awesome life. You don't see what's in the background. You don't see how it's taken a toll on him now. And you know, if you've looked at him lately, it's, ooh, you know. And so I often think, is your ego that much that you need all that? Or how would you feel if you were at a desk job
I think
for the rest of your life and you don't have any of that? You're feeling good, you know, you're enjoying your life the whole time instead of this big peak and now it's a valley.
Well, and I was going to say that there are wrestlers that have figured that out early. I think just
But I won't do that.
well, just information wise, you know, people like the Hulk or even Macho before he died, he didn't really have the availability of other options. Like, you know what I mean?
So what else am I going to do?
Like you basically were told, and there are wrestlers that say this. You basically were told, "This is your life. You do this until you're done."
So
And
the
then when
devil
you're
has
done-
caught you.
and then when you're done, you kind of just fade away. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's a mindset too. Rowdy Piper, his kids say he was never there, but when he was there, he was a great dad.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the mindset of you're on the road 300 days out of the year.
Isn't that what Cody said too?
Yeah. That's what every
Dusty, when he was around, he was a great dad, but he was never around.
Yeah. But that was the life. That was the life they chose.
Do what you got to do to make a living.
And that's how they had to do things. Whereas now, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be on the road 300 days out, especially now with Triple H kind of cultivating this environment in a way for people to have time with their families and not have to be on the road 300 days a year, whatever. Because of that, because he understood, because he was in that kind of tipping point of he was still around with the people that this is what you do. This is wrestling. If you don't like this, then you're not a wrestler. You're on the road all the time. This is what we do.
You might as well go dig ditches.
Yeah, to having...
And by the way, you're not going to get anything better than digging ditches. So you better stay with us.
To having his kids and realizing how much time he was missing. And he was kind of in that tipping point to where when he got the power that he has in the WWE and he kind of got able to make decisions, that was kind of his big thing of like, I love this. I love the people that are here. The people that are here love this. Dear. Hi, dear. The people that are here love this, but I also don't want this to be their entire life. And I want to give them an option. But anyway, going back to that, I don't think that was ever talked about as far as like Hulk Hogan, Macho, Rowdy, like Dusty. It was, you can go work at McDonald's, and this is a different example, but you can go work at McDonald's. You can probably provide for your family, maybe, but you're always going to be broke.
Uh-huh.
Or you can be on the road 300 days a year. We can pay you somewhat decent to the point where you can provide at least something for your family.
Nice house and yeah.
And this is your deal. Deal with the devil.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly. But what else am I going to do? I'm good at this. Yep.
Especially somebody like, Ric Flair, Dusty, people that have that Rowdy, that have that charisma, that have that natural ability. Something that...
Ric Flair's not going to work good in an office.
No.
Hey, I just finished this spreadsheet. Woo!
I would love to do that. Not necessarily now, Ric Flair, but I would have loved if they would have done that as like an SNL sketch of like. Well, they could probably do it now. Wrestlers in normal jobs.
You're not a rock star. That commercial.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But people that have that natural charisma, you're either an actor, which is even harder to be than a wrestler, or you take something that you're naturally good at and that you find a home and you find kind of the puzzle piece fits. And you go, okay, I can't do anything else this well, so I'm going to do this.
Just a side note to that, I think it's more than just wrestling. I think there are so many people that think exactly what you just said. Well, I'm only good at this, so I'm only good at managing a McDonald's. So that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. And it's okay. I support my family somewhat. But in the big picture, you just don't have enough confidence in yourself that my skills could relate to something bigger. And that's the problem with a lot of people, I think.
I think as far as wrestling goes, which is why, and there are wrestlers that talk about this all the time. I've had this conversation with people. There are just natural people that are good at it. And like I said, yes, those skills are transferable. Like Ric Flair probably could have been a great actor.
True.
Or could have been good at
Motivational speaker.
speaker, or could have been good at just promotions, like not
Yep.
even in front of the camera, just writing like just scripts for like promotions for things. He probably could have been good and made, if not
Decent
the
money.
same amount of money, more.
Yeah.
Doing it. But like I said, when you're in an era, and you know, Dusty being a good example of the working class man, obviously Ric Flair never held that limousine driving,
Yeah.
but Dusty being the working man's wrestler, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You're kind of put in that mindset, kind of like living in a coal miner's town.
Yeah.
You're never really told that there are other options. You're just like you
This
either
is what I do.
Yeah, you either dig ditches or you find that one thing that pays you, you know, and I'm sure this is generous, $1,000 every couple of weeks, and you go, oh shit.
Yeah, I got
Like-
life by the balls.
Yeah.
When you actually don't, but you know.
When you don't, well, that's also something that I know you've seen that. That's something that Cody says all the time, is that they were broke and nobody knew.
Yep.
That they kept the lifestyle and whatever, but
Put on a show.
yeah, things were gone.
Yep.
Anyway, so was there a time, if you can remember, was there a time that you remember watching either a match or a promo or something like that that really like made you excited, that like you were like
WrestleMania.
invested in?
WrestleMania.
The first WrestleMania?
So yeah, well, because again, I'll go back to what I said before. Is so you heard these guys talking on local TV. We're gonna be wrestling at the Wharton Field House tonight. Come on out, and you go, what? Well, you see it on TV, and then it just builds from there. So you see a match
Mhm.
on TV, and you like, okay, what was down here, which I didn't know about,
Mhm.
is now elevated a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then when they throw a WrestleMania and all these different people have all these different matches, and you're glued to the TV because it's a huge production.
For 2 hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know, when you said about you don't have to do this 300,
Mhm.
you know, I get that they're trying to do and trying to make it better for the wrestlers, if you will.
Mhm.
But you still can't. You can't say, "Hey, I'm going to stay in Philadelphia and I'm just going to wrestle here for the rest of my life."
Yeah.
You're still going to have to go out. It's kind of like a music tour, concert tour.
Mhm.
You still got to go out to the peoples,
Yeah.
and press the flesh
Well,
and get them to buy in.
and again, I feel, and I've said this to you with where it's all going and the kind of multiple storylines, people that you can kind of switch out interchangeable, which is kind of the route they're going to give people more time off. So the overall goal is to have so many people invested in so many different people that, let's say,
Do you water down the market? Then?
let's say CM Punk is out for a couple months for an injury or wants to see his family or whatever. Let's say that happens. You're not sitting there going, well, where did he go? You have all these other balls juggling that
But-
you're also invested in, that when he does come back, it's like, oh shit, that's right.
Oh, but hold on. So if
Are you
had-
watering down the market?
Yeah. Are you watering down? So if you had 10, and as a business too. So you have, this is stupid to say it this way, but you have 10 wrestlers and they're way up here.
Mhm.
You know, your Ric Flairs, your Hulk Hogan's and everything, you're up here. And they're making, let's say, $1 million a year.
Mhm.
But now what you're saying
Mhm.
is now we want to, but I said water down the market. So now you got 50 people
Mhm.
and you can, quote, entertain more people. But does Hulk Hogan's value go from $1 million down to $500,000 because we have to spread? And I say this as a business point.
Mm,
We have X number of dollars And if we hire 40 more employees, now we don't have the money to pay them. And so, hey, Hulk, you're great. You're going to work less. It's going to be better for you. It's a selling point. It's going to be better for you. You're going to get less money.
Talk about management.
Yeah. This is less money, but you're going to get time to spend more time with your family.
Well,
Well,
yes. Also, this is why you have to have good managers. 2, also that's dependent.
B.
That's dependent on whether you see a cap on it. Because you figure NFL teams have 60, 70 players-ish. More than that?
Yep.
Most of them, yes, there's higher payer ones that get paid $6-7 million, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You figure normal wrestlers get paid $500,000-ish, give or take, right? So you're thinking even if, which I would argue is roughly about the same intake as the NFL, the whole WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You figure that's not really that big a spread out. Because if you say I can pay, now that Cody Rhodes is the Universal Champion, I can pay Cody Rhodes $3.5 million or $5.2 million, like Aaron Rodgers' signing contract as the quarterback of the team.
Yep.
And he can work, that 300 days a year because he's young enough. He still wants to do that, whatever. And then I have Roman Reigns, who I can pay still $1.2 million, which is still higher than the normal people that are out there, but he only has to show up like 4 or 5 times a year. Now, you could juggle both.
Yeah.
Also, with that many people in rotation, you can do that. You can do contract upgrades. You can do contingencies on contracts. You can say, I'll give you a 1-year contract. We'll see where you're at as far as promotions go, as far as deal, or what was the fucking...
But hold on, I'm Hulk Hogan.
No, like soda deals and stuff like that. Yeah. Marketing deals.
4 rings.
Depending on where you are in the next year or 2, then we'll renegotiate your contract to see where it is. You can keep doing that as a business, and you're always generating basically the same dollar gets passed.
But hold on.
So you're not losing money.
But hold on, I'm Hulk Hogan, and I have a lifestyle to maintain now. So I can't be stepping down a notch.
Well, and see, this is where a lot of people differ, because if I was running that business, personally, if I was the head of the WWE and Hulk Hogan came to me and said that, I'd go, okay, prove it. Prove it with your bad back and fucking spinal fusions. You go show me you're still. You go show me that you're still a man and can do.
How much money have I made you over the years?
40-minute matches. You knew the deal. There's a lifeline. There's a life expectancy. You can't hack it in there anymore. You don't get paid as much.
Come on, I got mortgages to pay.
No, sorry.
My 4th house I can't afford anymore.
Ain't my 4th house.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you...
However, this is just my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
As I grow older, wrestling is still something to watch, but not as exciting. And I feel what you just said is, I feel it's gotten watered down.
You start thinking like an adult, not like a child. You're like, oh, he's gonna have to take aspirin in the morning. Yeah, I don't know if he should have done that.
Yeah, I laughed when you and Cheryl were talking. And then your dad says, "Oh, what are we gonna backflip? Like that hasn't been done before."
It was funny, but also like I said, you kind of gotta take what you got, though. You got to suspend your disbelief for a little bit, because
it's like just entertainment.
Like you said, it's everything that's been done has been done. You just got to figure out how to do it in a way
and not die.
That seems that seems new, that seems fresh.
Mhm.
Like my whole thing with this year with The Rock coming back is that it was really exciting.
Hold on. Has The Rock just come back as a gimmick kind of thing? He's not back for good.
I think it was and maybe this is me overthinking it, but I've said this to people. I think the whole thing was
a paycheck.
I think the whole thing was a sign off. I think the whole thing was a generation signing off on Cody Rhodes, giving their stamp of approval in a way that made sense in the universe. I think, and I noticed stuff like this, which is why I'm more invested in wrestling than most people, because I like little things. I like little things, which I was going to talk about that too, which you probably don't know. Did you watch, before I say this, did you watch the Bray Wyatt documentary thing?
No.
You should. You should.
Who's Bray Wyatt?
Bray Wyatt is a wrestler that you wouldn't know, because
Obviously.
it's after your time.
Post John wrestling time.
But he was a wrestler that changed, I feel, because he's what got me back into wrestling, because I was like, holy shit.
Because his name was Wyatt.
No, because he just psychotic.
Oh.
But not in a, I don't know how to explain it. So he came into the WWE and he did this whole, I'm going to give a backstory, which if any of you have watched the documentary, you're going to get this. But so he came in the WWE really talented, but he was kind of a bigger guy, kind of how Dusty looked, actually.
Really?
Kind of a bigger guy.
Huh?
So they kind of pigeonholed him into like the bigger guy genre.
Yep.
He was just massively smart. Like, you know how I talk about my brain? Like, massively smart. Had creative ideas every second. Like, just massive. But nobody got to see it because he was kind of pigeonholed into this big guy, whatever. So he finally got a chance to do this, like to showcase like how his brain works and stuff like that, and he leaned into the dark side of things, and when he started out, ended up becoming like a cult leader. That was his thing. He had like these family members, like backwoods, like it was really cool. And then transformed himself into a character called The Fiend, who is basically just like a dark version of himself that kind of ripped out. And he was kind of a character that pushed through the pandemic, because before that, people liked him. A lot of people liked him because he was new, because he was different, because nobody had really, like, Undertaker leaned into that darkness, but at a distance, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. He like leaned into it.
Simply Cremation. Here's your special $8.95.
I know they have decorative balls that you can put your. Cheryl says that all the time. Decorative balls that you can put your ashes in. It's 3 balls with like little thing, and you can put your ashes in it.
Can you juggle it?
Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, that's funny. $8.95.
But he lended himself to the pandemic because nobody was there in the stadiums, and so I feel personally that was a perfect time for him. Even though if you watch the documentary, there's a shitty time for him, but because you could do TV spots, and so he did this whole TV show sort of the Funhouse, which was basically a whole bunch of warped, distorted, like horror movie thought processes, but it was put in a space of like Mr. Rogers, like he had like a sweater on.
Yeah.
It was really funny, and like I said, that kind of pushed wrestling through aggressively, pushed it through the pandemic to the point where it kept people watching enough
Mhm.
that once we came out of the pandemic, it was still, the WWE was still relevant enough that they were able to, like,
So where's he now?
he's dead.
Really?
Hence the documentary.
Oh.
Yeah, he, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say it anyway. You'll figure it out in the documentary if you watch it. But so he got sick.
COVID?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah. He got sick. Not a whole lot of thing of how bad they said he did get bad, but then he got better. He went in. He was tired, and they said he had a heart thing. And they gave him this vest that if his heart went out or if he had a heart attack, pretty much it would shock him back. And he went to go take a nap, didn't have the vest on.
Died in his sleep.
Died in his sleep. Hi,
Watch out, gooses. Gooses to pooses.
He's like, I'm not fucking, what?
Yeah, well, he
Anyway,
stuck his tongue out at me.
anyway. But but like I said, you have people like that kind of are different, that nobody really looks to until it works. And I forgot what
So is it like a magical moment that it probably wouldn't have worked before, but because of the pandemic, it does work?
I think I think Bray Wyatt is probably, and I've said this many times, Bray Wyatt is probably one of my top 20 favorite wrestlers, only because it was different. It wasn't Shawn Michaels. It wasn't The Undertaker. It wasn't The Undertaker either. It was a side that...
It was Bert Kreischer without a shirt.
Yeah, the shirt was shock value, but then you listen to him and you're like, oh, actually, this is really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was over the top.
Need a gimmick.
It was over the top horror fucked upness, but then you watch him wrestle and you're like, oh shit, like this guy's good. Like,
yeah. Uh-oh, I've hit a dead end, I think.
End of the road. So I do, because I know that you have seen it. Oh, everybody's seen it. But I wanted to ask you if you remember when it happened. Is Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Do you remember that in real time?
Yes.
Thoughts?
Not really. It's kind of a Bret Hart thing. I was a fan of Bret Hart. Who was the guy that he did the tag team with? He was an ugly guy. And you know what's funny is, the reason I say this is because
It was his brother, wasn't it?
no, there was a guy who had like a long goatee. God, I can't think of his name.
Anyway.
There's a guy I work with that's just like him though, only a little thinner. That's why I said that. Because I was wondering what happened to him. But I always looked at, Bret Hart as your working class kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then Shawn Michaels came in. He's a fucking pretty boy,
I fucking love Shawn Michaels. Fucking Cheryl hates
arrogant, cocky, pretty
Cheryl hates
boy.
Shawn Michaels.
Watch out, gooses.
Get out of the way, Goose. Good job.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know when. I can't remember, because I was trying to think of this the other day. When did you ever stop watching wrestling? And I think your life just gets busy and,
I think you have time. I mean, at least I'll speak for myself.
You have time for everything.
I think
just what you choose to do.
I think, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think there's just a time where you go, okay, I don't need to invest time in this. Not that you don't like it, or not that
I don't want to,
or not that it got to or not that it got to a period of like, oh, this is boring now. Kind of like cartoons, I would assume, but like, it's just, you get to a point where you're like, if I watch it, I watch it. If not,
yeah.
And then that turns into like, okay, I don't have time to watch it, and then, well, I have the time, but I also want to watch these other things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was for me. I watched wrestling for a fucking long time until I started working a lot, and I was like, well, I don't really have time. I don't
That
have
damn working thing gets
I don't
in the
have time. I don't have time to invest
Damn it, I gotta make money.
invest every Friday and Monday in whatever in the storyline or whatever. And I was like, whatever. And then like I said, I remember DX very well. That was about like that time frame. And then I remember the tail end of John Cena before he like went to go do acting. I remember, probably John Cena, CM Punk-ish, around that time is where I stopped. And then, like I said, until the pandemic, until Bray Wyatt, because I remember seeing posts on Facebook, because I hadn't watched wrestling at that point 6 years-ish, 5 maybe, and then I started seeing pictures of Bray Wyatt on Facebook, like, oh, it's fucking creepy and whatever, and it interested me, and I was like, oh, I wonder, like, I haven't seen
So
anything
he brought
like
you
that.
back to wrestling?
Yeah, for sure. And I remember seeing it, and I'm like, oh, and that was back when he was the cult leader, Bray Wyatt. That was because the picture that I saw that got I remember it very clearly, the picture that I saw that got me interested in it was him standing at the end of the walkway or whatever with these two guys with masks on. It was like a goat and like something like that, and I was like, what is that? Because it looks like a horror movie. It looks like, I mean, I've said this many times, one of my favorite horror movies is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's kind of their family photo. That's kind of what it looked like, and so it interested me, and so I started watching like some of his stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, this is really good. And then and then I just followed it all the way through, and yeah, it got me back into kind of watching it. Now.
Yeah, I watched WrestleMania with you, and it was kind of like entertaining, but it was kind of like meh.
Sorry. I remember where I was going with this the last time when I started talking about Bray Wyatt in the first place. So, I think that the reason why this WrestleMania I liked it is because I feel like everything came together to kind of sign off on Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker to get a shot for the Universal title, which he held. Okay? So, The Undertaker taking The Rock so that Cody could win was a full circle moment. Undertaker gave you your title, Undertaker helped take it away. And The Rock solidified the bloodline as a sign-off. The Rock had to be there because not only he kind of facilitates between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. He gives his stamp of approval of Roman Reigns being the best, and he kind of is there to kind of send Cody on his way of like, we trust you. And The Rock being the staple of the WWE, of as much of a staple as The Undertaker was, those two being there, and then John Cena also doing the same thing, John Cena coming out and helping Cody as well. I felt like that whole moment was just the WWE in every way, full circle, being like, we're all in agreement that this is the guy. There's nobody in this locker room, there's nobody that is saying Cody is not our guy. I thought that was really nice. I thought that was really
nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good long-term storytelling. I think that was, and if you don't if you didn't, or if that's not what they were going for, if that's not what they were going for, then they fucking did a great job on coincidence. I'm just saying. But and it's one of those things that if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's not. It doesn't take away from anything. It doesn't take away from the match or whatever. It's just it's those things of why I like wrestling. Why wrestling intrigues me. Why I like watching the storylines or whatever. It's that long term. A lot of people talk shit about some storylines that happen in the WWE, like The Undertaker and Kane and stuff like that. People have said that, well, that's ridiculous and whatever. But I don't think you gotta suspend your disbelief, and it makes me laugh at the ability that the people are willing to suspend their disbelief for a movie that we all know is not real. 100% we know that a movie that you're watching never happened. It's a movie for make-believe.
I had to tell my kids that a lot. It's just a movie.
That you invest in for the hour and a half to 2 hours. But for some reason with wrestling, we don't give that same leeway. We don't give that it's just entertainment. It's just a storyline.
It's kind of live action, though, whereas a movie isn't.
Some miss, some don't. But also, you figure you're doing this. You're doing podcasts. Not every podcast is going to be a winner. Not every podcast is going to be entertaining. Not every, especially...
What?
I'm sorry, it's not. I've listened to some really boring podcasts before. I'm just saying they're not all winners. And I would venture to say that anybody looking back on any of my packs, there are a lot of them that aren't winners. That are boring.
What?
I listen to every podcast I ever make, and there are even times I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand.
I guess I wasn't the best.
I guess that wasn't my day. But for some reason, wrestling is something that we don't give that leeway to. We suspend our disbelief enough, but not enough to like, oh, they're just telling stories. That's all they are. It's like a live TV show all the time that is never. Triple H said this about WrestleMania this year. And it was very brief, but he said it in a press conference. He's like, people don't understand that we have the most live content out of anything, including the news. He's like, for WrestleMania, we are here for a week and we're working all week. We have press interviews, we have podcasts, we have all of these things. Then we have WrestleMania 2 nights. Then we have live Monday night SmackDown, then we have, or Monday Night Raw, then we have all of these other interviews after that, and we have we have to do this every day as promotion. And I think that that's where it gets lost with people, is that not oversaturating the market, so to speak, but because they've seen so much, they're like, okay, well, I get this part, but not this part. You kind of lost me here. But like I said, when you have so much content, not all of it's gonna be a winner.
A hit, yeah. Yeah, like what if you found out that Hacksaw Jim Duggan was a multi-millionaire, had a huge house, and when he wasn't working for a few months, he had a very nice haircut, dressed in very nice clothes, very nice Argyle preppy style.
I get your point.
Because it's just a story.
Yeah.
It's just a story, and this works for me. There's a gap, and I can fill that gap. It's not who I am.
And I'm
the person. Acting.
Yeah, and I'm the person to fill that gap.
Yep.
And who's to say that gap would? And I know me and you have talked about this about other things, but you can say that gap would have always been filled. You you could have said Hulk Hogan would have always existed even if Terry wouldn't have taken the Hulk Hogan thing. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't.
know.
I think
He may have found another avenue, but
no.
he found his
talking,
niche.
No. I'm talking about Hulk Hogan in general. I'm talking about that.
There wouldn't have been a Hulk Hogan
There would have been a Hulk
person.
Hogan.
Yeah. But
There-
it wouldn't have been him.
But it wouldn't have been him. And would that have gone? And I don't think so. I think there are certain people that are made to do certain things.
Yeah.
I don't think The Undertaker could have been done the way The Undertaker was if that person wasn't it. I don't think Bret Hart would have connected the same if it was somebody else. If somebody else would have had, quote, that name or that moniker or whatever. I think, and wrestlers have talked about this before, that the best advice they've ever gotten is to bring your personality through your wrestling. To put bits of you in there. But I think that's kind of where I was going to go with this, is that's also what I appreciate about the wrestling now, is that the wrestling fans, and it's kind of what I said at the beginning of this, is that we have so much information now. We have so much access to information now. Like, I'll go back to Macho. Like, Macho Man was Macho Man.
Huh?
That's who he was. It wasn't a gimmick.
Yeah.
It was him. That's who he was. So there was no like seeing him on the beach. Like when you saw him on the beach, he was still Macho. Like he still.
Yeah.
But like you watch like documentaries and interviews about Macho Man, and he does have things that like you wouldn't really think he was as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I know that this was a thing. I understand that this was also in wrestling too, but like his undying love for Miss Elizabeth was just ridiculous. But I don't think people really understood that unless you watched like a documentary with him where he like, you can see it. You can feel it. You can see it. Like that was his person, and regardless of what happened in his life, like that was always going to be it. And I think that's also important because, like I said, that adds a new layer to who that person is. Like obviously, finding that out later, that added on to like, oh, okay, some of the stuff makes sense. Like some of the stuff that like he did or like reacted or whatever, that makes more sense now that I know that.
Yeah.
And with all the information that we have now, sorry, long-winded explanation, but what we have now and the ability that the general population is allowing wrestlers to have, quote, another life of like, we understand when you're in the ring, this is somebody different than who you are.
Yep.
I think it adds more depth to the people that they are. You know what I mean? Like Logan Paul, it's one of the things that I love about it is that Logan Paul's podcast, he has people on there now that he's in wrestling. He has people on there, wrestlers or whatever. And it's just so funny to me that he has wrestlers on there and, you know, a week before they're supposed to go against each other or like have this feud or whatever, they're both on there and the other person's like, hey, I really respect you. You know, you're doing a great, to Logan, like you're doing a great job. Like people, and they have this like really good talk for 2 hours where they're just bullshitting and like whatever. And then they're allowed to go into the ring and be like, and call Logan Paul a piece of shit. And like, and we as the general population and as fans let that happen because that there are things about that kind of help that storyline more so than just watching it.
It's funny you pointed that out because so I follow Caitlin Clark.
Hmm?
And, the whole riff with Angel Reese from LSU.
Yep.
And Angel Reese finally came out, I don't know, a couple months ago. Yeah, I have no beef with Caitlin Clark. I don't know why you people are saying we do. I respect her. She respects me. But when you get on the court, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I have a killer instinct when I get on that court, and there ain't nobody that's going to stop me. But, yeah, I could go out to dinner with her,
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's something that I think, again, that's something that I think isn't lost on fans now, is that we all understand that people are human. People, have relationships, and especially and this, I understood this, I feel, early in watching wrestling than some people did or do. You can't you can't all hate each other. You're going, especially, you think early 90s, or late 90s, early 2000s, you're in every state 320 some, 330 some days a year.
Yep.
You can't hate each other. You're on a bus together every day. You have to play the same arenas. You have to talk the same shit to each other there's no.
Can I have some of your fries?
There's no. You're gonna finish. You
gonna finish that because I'm kind of hungry.
Like, you can't.
No, you hate me.
You can't. I'm sorry. Even if you hate somebody in their behavior, you can't fully hate them.
You want something from Burger King?
What time is it?
8 o'clock.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So
but keep talking because I'm going to go through drive-thru.
I'm going to keep talking.
But I have a question.
This is not a promotion for Burger King.
But I have a question.
What's your question? Are you really going to ask? The drive-thru's right there. Are you really going to ask a question and then order food?
Yeah, because you're going to answer it. So I can ask the question, but you're going to answer it.
Okay.
So the question is
wrestling real?
Prejudiced or racist? And I'll give you this. Here's what irritated me back in my day. You ever seen or heard of a guy named Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
Yes.
Cut like there's no tomorrow, just so in shape. Oh, you win the Intercontinental Championship. Big freaking deal. What is that, He wasn't, I don't think, as big as Hulk Hogan, but I think he was so much faster, quicker, that he could have easily taken Hulk Hogan. But he's Asian, so I don't know if that really fits.
I will. He's in the Hall of Fame.
And so therefore I was always a big fan going, this guy's getting screwed. He is so much better than the stupid, here's your little toilet paper Intercontinental Championship thing.
So I'm not going to answer your question while you order food.
You're not?
No. So we're going to pause.
A lot of boots out today.
So I will answer the question though, however.
Okay.
So there, like we have said, there was a time where, yes, society-wise, I wouldn't necessarily say racist, but ignorant would be.
44, please.
Ignorant would be a better word.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of pigeonholed of people will only buy this nationality or race in this dress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, I feel like it was a fan thing. It was this is the person that's
I'm assuming they could rate.
He could never beat Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan was making this.
I was just going to say, so you could rate, the popularity, if you will.
I completely agree with you on that, though, even though realistically, you take off the cameras, could have whipped Hulk Hogan's ass.
Yeah.
Really fucking fast. However, you got to play the game, too. You got to, if this guy is only getting, if Hulk Hogan is getting 33 million views and they're only getting 10,000. You can't put that as a main event.
And you can't. It's classic. Thank you.
where I think as now,
And you can't class it as racist or prejudice. It's just dudes not putting the people in the seats.
I agree.
Okay.
However, I will comment on the fact that I wouldn't say racist. Maybe I would say it was a different time, and I know that there are people that
We're going thin on the eggs nowadays, aren't we? Kind of weak.
that's not even a full egg.
Oh.
Anyway, and I know that people don't like this as an answer, but it's an honest answer. People can say, well, we should have been better. Yes, we should have. And we are better now. However, there was a time that wasn't a thing. If you look back on the whole, and I tell people this all the time. If you look back on the whole Attitude Era, it was, yes, I will agree with most wrestling fans. The Attitude Era was the most entertaining to watch. With The Rock, with Stone Cold, it was entertaining. However,
The Diamond Cutter.
yeah. However, you look back on it, it's the most misogynistic time in wrestling ever. Like, you had the bra and panty matches, and like, just women were used as accessories in the WWE for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But that also was the time. That was the time. That's how people acted. That's what was, quote, entertaining or entertainment, and what put the people in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was misogynistic, and it probably, looking back on it now, you can go, ew. But like, but that's not what it was. That's how you did business then. That's what it was. Luckily, we had, and even now, we had women that kind of pushed that in another direction and made it okay for that not to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
For people to, want to watch women's wrestling more so than just, like, what are they going to wear? Like, to watch women's wrestling for... And personally, I think, and a lot of people give credit, which is one of my favorite female wrestlers, a lot of people give credit to, like, Lita and Trish Stratus for kind of pushing female wrestling, like, to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think Chyna was the one that switched it for a lot of people. And not because I don't feel this way, but not in a mean way, but because Chyna wasn't overly pretty.
No.
But also, she was strong enough.
She was thick.
but she was strong enough where you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
You bought that.
She could kick your ass.
The Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. You bought that she could pick Triple H up over her head and fucking throw him. You bought that she could throw other female wrestlers around like rag dolls. Like, and it was, I feel, the tipping point to where people watched Chyna because it was so mesmerizing to watch a woman be that strong. Which put interest in women's wrestling, which kind of trickled down to the female wrestlers at the time, like Lita and Trish Stratus at the time, who were pushing storyline and athletics up. It put a spotlight on it so that it could be seen as more than just, this is how we get guys' attention.
And now it's come full back around where we're wearing skimpy clothes to do it.
Well, also you have more, I wouldn't say gimmicks, but I wouldn't say the skimpy clothes thing is a thing. I think, and this is a gender comparison, but people go out there in their wrestling panties, as Cheryl says, all the time, and nobody bats an eye about it. But a female goes out there in a bra and underwear, and all of a sudden, ooh, yeah. But I think
who they should develop? They should develop an Amish woman.
just all the way.
Yeah,
all the
with
way
a
down.
bonnet thing on. That'd be awesome.
With just the ankle showing. Just the skirt short enough just for the ankles.
I built a barn today. I can kick your ass.
So, do you have opinions?
I have opinions on everything.
Sorry.
Just ask me.
Do you have opinions on the Shawn Michaels?
No.
Better question. Do you remember watching DX?
No.
No. Okay, so then where's your cutoff?
I don't know.
Do
You
remember?
know, when Owen died,
That was it for you? You're like, fuck that shit.
No, I didn't say it that way, but that was kind of that cutoff timeline, if you will. It was, I was still watching a little. And then, oh my God, this happened. And then I quit watching, but not because of that. It was just that was kind of a cut there.
So do you remember Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Like his run?
And I wouldn't say his run, but yeah, I remember watching him.
So, okay. Well, then I'll go back to that. Your opinion on, I wouldn't say best in the world, but your opinion on your top favorite wrestlers and why. And then we can stop talking.
And then we can stop talking. It's kind of hard because I would easily say Hulk Hogan, and I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. It's just, I think if you want to call it a sport, he did more for the sport at the time to build it than I think anybody did. He had for lack of a better term, an entourage around him, meaning like Macho Man and the Iron Sheik and people that played the parts, around him that built the quote wrestling environment. Because I don't know what you'd call it right now is WWF, WWE,
You know what's funny to me? They don't bleep it out in documentaries when they talk about the WWF or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't bleep it out, but they cut it out in the subtitles.
Really?
I think it's so funny.
So you can't say WWF because it stands for World.
You can say it. World Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah.
Something like that. You can say it. You can't put it in the subtitles.
Huh.
That's so funny. They change it in the subtitles. It's funny to me. Anyway, sorry.
That's weird.
He had his entourage around him.
Yeah, and I think that was a big builder. Bob the Builder. That was a big builder of wrestling in general, and pushed the sport forward out of the. How's this going to sound? Out of the alleys and into mainstream.
Yeah.
Out of, you didn't know this place, but I do. What I kept referencing before is the Wharton Fieldhouse. Out of the Wharton Fieldhouse, kind of dark, musky. It's not even an arena. They played basketball there, Hoosiers. That's what the Wharton Fieldhouse was. And so that's where they did wrestling events back in the day. And so I think he took that out of the dark, musty places
and made it cool
and put it into arenas, and obviously it wasn't him, but I think he fueled it. So I would say I don't know, because I have respect for what he did and how he did it, but there's a part of me too that goes, I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite. Your mom really likes Rowdy a lot.
Because he's awesome.
Yeah. And again, your grandma likes Big Sexy.
So why Macho?
Why Macho? He reminds me a lot of me.
No shit.
Because he talks big. He's really not that pretty a guy, but he's got a gorgeous wife that loves him. And that's, I've told you this 100 times. I feel so blessed.
And it adds credibility.
I say this, Zach, it's really weird because I say this to myself almost every day is, how the fuck lucky am I? I am a severely flawed individual in a lot of ways. And to have somebody love me like she does, blessed beyond belief. And I feel bad for people that don't. Oh, my wife's a bitch. You married her, didn't you?
I said that somebody said that to me at work the other day, and they were
Oh,
they were
my
just
wife's a bitch.
No, they were just bullshitting. And what did he say? So what he said is not the point I'm trying to make, but he was just joking. He's like, "So when are we gonna go to the strip club or whatever?"
Yeah.
Like, and I was just joking. I was like, "Whenever I get a fucking day off."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, your wife would never let you go anyway or whatever." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, she's got you by the balls or whatever." And this is the same person that was like, "Yeah, I got butt videos and stuff, but don't tell my girlfriend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so far past that. Like, you don't even get it. I don't do that jealousy stuff. I don't do that bullshit. I was like, it has nothing to do. And I said that. I was like, it has nothing to do with whether I can or can't do things. It's just why? And I've said this. I've said this about Cheryl many times. Is like, honestly, like, I could, and it wouldn't be a problem. Like, obviously, I don't have to
She
hide.
says it's okay.
No, like, I don't have to.
I could if I wanted to.
I don't have to hide things from
The
her.
band song.
I don't have to like hide things from her or like, shh, don't tell my wife.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty honest with her, and she kind of understands and doesn't really. I don't have to hide anything from her, honestly. But I've said this many times. I'm like, but she's the homie. Like, she's my best friend. She's the person that, like, if I were, no, for real, if I were to want to go to a strip club, like, she'd be the person I want to go with, not because she's my wife and like I want her to be there to be like, see, I'm not doing anything or whatever, but like, just
Let's go have fun.
Yeah, but just like, she is my best friend, and it's not a controlling thing. It's not a like, she needs to hold my hand or whatever. It's just, why would I want to do something with somebody else? Like, obviously, I have other friends. I do like going out with my other friends and like going to bars and like drinking and or like watching the UFC fights or like stuff like that. But like, I don't know. It's
it's funny.
Like, it's weird to me that people don't have that. That people are in marriages, especially relationships. I kind of give a pass. Marriages, especially, if you're not marrying your best friend, like, why? I don't get the point. I don't understand the point.
Yep.
Because, like, you have to be with that person every day. You have to be with that person all the time. Why wouldn't
you want to be happy with
Yeah,
them?
why wouldn't you want to enjoy that time? Why would you want to be with... That would be like having a friend that annoys the shit out of you and then being like, move in with me.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
We've had friends go back to the strip club. If I haven't told us this before, we've had friends that say, "Let's go to the strip club. It'll be fun." Why? Well, cause I'm like, that's a waste of my money.
Drinks.
I work hard for my money, and honestly, drinks in general is.
Honestly, I've said that. I was like, if drinks were the same as they were at a bar, maybe.
Hey,
I would.
It's a $10 entry fee, but your wife gets in free. Ooh, that's a bonus.
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah.
No, but I've said this. If drinks were the same price as they were at a bar, maybe I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, whatever. If you guys want to go do that, I'll fucking say it. But when I can sit at a bar and get a drink for $2.53, or go to a strip club and pay $10 for the same drink, on top of like an entrance fee and stuff like, why?
Yeah,
it just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I concur.
Right.
Anyways, you should call it a day.
Yeah,
an hour and a half. Jeez,
I know. Pretty impressive.
Is it though?
Yeah. I don't know if it's impressive.
Your mom text messaged me already. What's your ETA? When are you coming back?
I got blood to give.
Yeah, I got to get that blood money.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Come over anytime.
Yeah.
I'm usually here.
Love you.
Love you.
And this is What's in the Box signing off.
What's in the box? Cheryl, I'm sorry, I can't do it anyway. Close to what you can, so is what it is.
Bye.
Bye.